Hey guys, I had previously recorded like a 30-minute version of this and decided I needed to condense it way down. So this is the more condensed version, hopefully. I've been getting asked a lot of questions recently, mostly in Twitch for some reason. I don't really see it in YouTube, but over on Twitch we've gotten half a dozen requests over the holidays. It's basically the question revolves around how do you, what do you need to get going streaming? How did you get going streaming? Um, is there anything special? Blah 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 blah. I figured it would be great to put this in one place so I can stop answering that live because there's, 90% of the people who tune in have already heard this stuff before, and I'm having to repeat it multiple times to people who are asking questions. So I'm just going to put it in a video format and point people in this direction when they need to know more. And this is a variety channel, so I know I haven't talked about this like we have all the other stuff. Although that's not necessarily true. If you're a channel member here, I talk about analytics and income reports all the time with our channel members. So that's one of the perks, by the way. If you like what you hear today in this video, join as a member here on YouTube because you do get access to our analytics videos and my income reports, which I do not every month. I might do them. Sometimes I'll do 2 or 3 months in a row. Sometimes I won't do anything for 3 months, but we generally do half a dozen per year, talking about channel growth and everything else. I've been very open about how this channel has grown. Um, you don't need a lot. I can tell you that much right now. So I've done this, believe it or not. I started full time in February of 2022, more like January of 2022, but really February is when I got monetized. February of 2022 was when I got monetized. This YouTube channel, and I've been full time since there. But my method to get here was a little unique because I was in a situation that a lot of people aren't in. So I'd like to point as a context to my previous occupation before I started doing this, working in marketing and the travel industry and also in game development as a studio founder, CEO, marketing guru, marketing director. I've done a lot of cool projects over the years. I've been a public speaker on the subject. I've built probably, if I had to guess off the top of my head, it's over 40. Like I've helped build over 40 brands for other clients since starting in 2008, essentially, as well as 5 of my own personal companies. I am not a millionaire, but I have been, I would say, successful enough in life to be able to do all the things that I wanted to do. And I've been working independently since I was 20 years old. I've never had an employer since I was 20. I've been independent and freelance, and I'm in my mid 40s now, so I've made it essentially. And I have a place that's paid for in cash. We have no debt, no school loans, no credit card loans, no car loans, nothing, right? So use that as context. And it's not arrogance. It's just a point to make. If you want to know more about me as an individual, that's my go-to here. That's my surname, but Tim Anderson is my name. You can Google me. You can find our old websites. You can find my LinkedIn. Do your own due diligence so that you realize I'm not just somebody who's spouting air. Um, so I knew how to build brands. And one of the things I can tell you from that past experience with building brands is that you don't need a lot of gear. You just need time, dedication, discipline. Discipline. Let me repeat that word for you. Discipline. If you have a problem waking up to an alarm clock, get over that shit quick. Because the only person keeping you back from success is you. And if you can't wake up to an alarm, you are not cut out to be self-employed. You're not. If you are the type of person who is going to say, you know what, I need a sick day, I need to take a sick day. I need a me day. If you're the type of person who needs like half a dozen me days throughout the year, it's going to be tricky, because there's a mentality, a disciplined mindset that is, it's like going to the gym. I don't have the mindset for that, although I did spend about 3 years becoming a gym junkie, and I enjoyed it once I got into it, but it was rough for me to get into. So I get it. When you're doing things that are outside of your comfort zone, it can be a little tricky. But the key here is daily. You don't get to take off unless you're in the hospital. Like, you don't take a day off. You just do it. Why? Because it's your passion. You said it's your dream, right? Is it really your dream? Because if it's your dream, there's no such thing as too much sacrifice. There's no such thing as I'm tired. Nah, you fucking go. Like, that's just, that discipline is the most important thing. So if you can find that discipline, every client I've ever worked with is 2 to 3 years to get to a financially successful enough point where they can sustain themselves and not be living in debt. and they can actually start making a profit to expand or to do with whatever they want with. My own personal journey on YouTube was simple. The first 3 or 4 years don't really matter because I wasn't being serious about it. It was a hobby channel where I would stick old point and click games and cooking videos and just random shit while I was busy with client work. When I decided to take it seriously was the beginning of 2022. I was up to about 700 followers by the end of 2022, going into January of 2022. Sorry, end of 2021, beginning of 2022. And I looked at it and said, you know, we're coming off of it. The background is that we were coming off of a startup that I'd been working with for a while, like 3 years, and they got bought out of investors by investors. Investors wanted to go a different direction, and so I was left going, I can either go look for more work, or I could take this channel that's almost monetized, we can get it monetized, and I just go all in on YouTube. And I'd already been doing it for years for other clients, so it was a no-brainer to just sort of do it for myself. And we were in a position, and this is the very important key, if you're in a position where you can financially afford to go all in, and you know you've got at least 3 years of runway, you know, I would say that you could most cases generally work out if you can put 3 years of work into it and you're in that position. Not everybody's in that position. A lot of people have to do this as a hobby where they're working a day job, and it can take it's like I said, it's about 3 years to get to the point. I was reading like Co Carnage didn't even go full time on Twitch, if I'm understanding things, for 7 years, or at least 7 years to partner, I think is what I read. Maybe not full time, but 7 years to get to partner. So it can take time, even for the most successful. So the most important thing is just being willing to, and have the discipline to sit down and grind every single day. Doesn't matter if you got the sniffles, doesn't matter if your back hurts, doesn't matter if you're feeling under the weather. You know, there's a great quote in Dune by Frank Herbert where Paul Atreides is basically being whiny because he doesn't want to train. I don't want to train with you, Gurney Halleck. I'm tired. I'm not in the mood. And essentially says mood. I can't say the way he says it in the book because it sounds very poor in today's light. You can go look it up if you'd want the full quote. But essentially, part of the quote is mood is for cattle is one of the parts of the quote. Mood is for animals. Mood is for things that are governed by moods. You're the Duke's son. You don't get to be affected by moods. You conquer your mood. And you can hear like Jock, you can hear Goggins, you can hear all these super elite athlete guys talk about this, people who are mentally conditioned, and it's always comes back to the discipline factor, and it's no different here. You have to have that mindset of there's no such thing as I'm in a bad mood, I'm not going to do anything today. It is, you're going to drink a coffee and you're going to get over that, and you're going to sit down and you're going to work, and 30 minutes later you're going to realize that you feel better and you're having fun, and this is what your dream is, and this is what you've always wanted to do, and you're doing it, and you're having fun, and you're just going to keep going, and then it becomes second nature. And as long as you can get past the initial I don't want to, you'll be fine. But you need to, I would say give yourself a 3-year runway. If you're doing it as a side gig, that's fine, but you need to be putting out at least a video a week, is what most people say. I would argue a video a day. I have adopted a different strategy than a lot of people since I went full time, and I've grown from 700 followers to I'm recording this at the end of 2023, and we're over 22,000. I don't even know exactly where we're at right now. But I had 700 followers in January of 2022. Got to 1,000 in February of that year. So we're coming up on the second full year this February 2024, and I'll be going into my third year as a full-time person on YouTube, and now also on Twitch. I'm not a streamer. I'm primarily a content creator. 85 to 90% of the revenue that I bring in from YouTube comes from ad revenue, not from super chats or memberships or everything else. Those are perks and extras, and we have people who support us. We also have people over on Twitch who support with subscriptions, so there's that factor to it. But like on YouTube anyway, like 86% of right now it's 86. It's between 85 and 90% of the revenue coming in is from ad revenue, which is just lots of videos. And so I have reliably put out 3 to 5 videos every day okay, for 2 years, almost 2 years. There have been a handful of days where we've done. I think there might have been. During the holidays this year was the first time I've slowed down, and I did less than five. I did like 3 a day. I still did my daily streams, but my streams are short, like hour and a half, 2 hours long, um, and it's mostly just getting on and doing something to be in front of people and to have video content going out regularly. But I like to have a lot of content because I like to just make sure that my face is everywhere all the time so that the brand recognition is at an all-time high. And I'm a variety channel, so I produce a lot of different content, which gets linked to a lot of other people's content. And so I get a lot of residuals coming in from lots of different things. So that's one of the reasons I've chose specifically to do variety channel. But the discipline, 3 to 5 videos a day, plus streams, and oftentimes more because there's times when you need to do more because when you're having a peak of interest around something, you need to strike while the hammer's hot, makes hay while the sun shines, use whatever euphemism you want to use there. Um, but you basically just need to work really hard for those two. It's like when you go to a when you go to a conference, you're there for 72 hours, right? You don't sleep for those 72 hours. You take a throat lozenge and you just barrel through and you don't worry about your lost voice and your headache and your tiredness. You muscle through and you sleep when the conference is over. Like that's what you're there for. And so there are times when you've got to buckle down and work extra. I haven't had an 8-hour day in forever, like 3 years now. It's definitely 12 to 14-hour days, but I do what I love, and that's the most important part of it. Um, you don't need expensive gear. If you've been around my channel, you already know this, but I have an older laptop. It's finally starting to show its age at the end of 2023. It's got a 1080 in it. It's the third laptop I've owned. I've been entirely laptop only since 2008. I got my first laptop in 2008. This is the third one I've had. Um, Making sure that that's true. Yes, it's the third one. It's the fourth one we've had in total because Chris had another one that she just gave to her niece. It's really old. But anyway, and my other one finally died years ago. Anyway, so this is my third laptop since 2007. I usually get about 7 years out of them. I will work them until they stop working. I'm not one of those people who's like, I got to have a 4090 this year, and now I got to have a 5080, and now I got to have a 6020, and I don't do that game at all. I run it until it doesn't work anymore, and then I'll worry about upgrading. However, now that I've gotten into content creation, I've noticed that I probably am going to have to start being a little more conscious of that, probably a little more frequently. But that's only a problem that happened in the last couple of years. But I'm still going to get another gaming laptop. I've already been pricing them out. So here's a very quick rundown of what you need. I've already talked about the discipline and everything else. Here's the gear portion. You need a laptop at least. If you want to do a desktop, you can. It's not necessary. I've been using gaming laptops for years. I love them. This is a Rogue Strix, like $2,500 a few years ago. I've been pricing computers out right now. It's a similar price these days if you want like a good 3080 Ti. You can get a laptop with a 3080 Ti for like $2,500. If you want to build it on your own, you can do a budget. That's not for me. I don't get into that shit. I just want a good rig that I can sit down, plug into, and go from there. You need a headset. I recommend a headset with a mic so that you don't need to buy an extra mic and an extra boom mic. A lot of people will complain that you do this. I've stopped getting complaints in like the last year and a half, but the first year I was definitely getting like people who were like, "Yeah, you need to get a boom mic," and I'm like, "I don't want a boom mic. I'm hands free. I want to be able to step away and move around and not need to be beholden to a microphone. And I don't have a place where I can set up a studio space with a perfect microphone, So I'm definitely on a budget rig. So a 2,500 laptop, $100 webcam. I don't use a laptop webcam. I do have a separate monitor. I have two monitors, so I didn't, but you don't need it. You can do it all from your laptop if you want to, but I would recommend getting a webcam. No, don't use the webcam from the laptop. It's not going to be good enough. I got a Logitech. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. 1080. I don't remember what number it is, but it does 1080 streaming, which is good enough. You do not need a green screen or blue screen at all, or lights. You do not need these. You can literally turn all this stuff off and have a bookshelf or a couch or a bed behind you. You don't need any of that. But if you do want to have that, it's going to be a few $100 for the lights, the screen, um, all the setup to make that work. But essentially, what you really need is a laptop, a webcam, and a headset. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to get started. You can get all that stuff for like $2,500, $3,000. If you're looking for something reasonably modern, you can go budget if you want and go less than that. I'm not going to try to do complete budget shopping right now with you, but you don't need tens of thousands of dollars to get up and going. You need a decent laptop, you need a decent webcam, and you need a decent headset and mic setup. And once you've got that, you're essentially good to go, and you can start from there. I was notorious for, I never had a capture card. I didn't get a capture card until September of this year. So previously, I would just stream PS4 and Xbox to my PC, to my laptop, through like PS Play or Xbox app or whatever was the native app that they used, then capture that and stream that to YouTube. And that was it. So the software you need, like OBS, Streamlabs, Twitch has their own built-in thing now. There's lots of tools you can use to stream and get online and start streaming your content. Most of them are free. If you're only going to go in like to Twitch or something, or you're just going to be streaming to YouTube. But if you're going to do both, like I'm doing, I have a now that I started multi-streaming in October of this year, I got a license with Streamlabs. It was $150 or whatever for like a year. I was like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Like, or maybe it was a lifetime. I don't remember what it was, but it's like that's a tax deduction, and it's like a small price to pay to be able to multi-stream in both places. So, yeah, you don't need a lot of money and gear to get going. You just need some basic pieces of gear and the ability to sit down in a place for at least a couple of hours a day. If you can do 2 to 3 hours a day, that doesn't have to be 2 to 3 hours of streaming, but if you could be doing, an hour of video production where you're you're recording a video, cutting a video, editing a video and uploading and publishing a video. If you do that once per day, and just start doing that regularly. Yeah, your first videos are going to suck. You're going to get no traffic. It's going to be like 30 hits per traffic. I still, despite the fact that I have videos that get like 50,000 views now, and I get regularly, for where my channel's at right now with 22,000 plus followers, I think most of my videos within the first week do between, 500 and 1,000 views. Take that as you will. I do a lot of traffic, but I also do a lot of videos every single day. So, so I still have videos. Like if I do some random movie that no one's ever seen, I do a review. That thing might only get 75 hits, and but that's because the algorithm's looking at it as like, oh, your community is not really resonating with that. Maybe you shouldn't do more of that. So you'll know when you find those pieces that don't resonate with your audience, you just don't do those again. But the ones that do, focus on that. Focus on the things you're having fun at. Focus on the things you know and you're good at. And go from there. You don't need to have a perfect presentation. You don't even need to show your face. Morticimal Gaming, as an example, does not show his face on his videos, and yet he has like 300. How many? He has a few 100,000 followers and does great CRPG content with videos that get hundreds of thousands of views, and he never shows his face. So you don't even have to be on there showing your face, but you do need to work on, if you're not good at talking, make sure you have a script in front of you and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into the weeds about all that, but I did want to answer a question in a video format of what do I need to get going? How do I get going? Well, the easy solution is you don't need a lot. You need some basic equipment, and as long as you can put in like 3 hours a day of like working on video content creation and stuff, you'll figure the rest out, and it will come over time. And then after you do this reliably for 2 to 3 years, you should be getting to the point where you're making a living at it. And if you're not, you probably need help from someone to help guide you in that direction. Because if you're still not figuring it out after 3 years, and you've actually been putting in the time and doing your research and going to conferences and listening to other people and putting in your due diligence, if you've seriously been doing that and you're still struggling after 3 years, there's something there. You probably need to get that looked at. You never know what it could be. Maybe it's not for you. Like I'm never going to be good at math. Like I can love math, but I'm never going to be good at math. I'm never going to be an astrophysicist. So I've just said, you know what? I'm going to leave that alone and I'm going to go over here and do this. But, it just everybody needs to go out there and explore for themselves. So This is in video format. If you like this, you want to know more, again, if you're a member of my YouTube channel, we do analytics reports and income reports for those of you who want to go in the deep end. Plus a bunch of other stuff happens there for members. Otherwise, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. We'll see you next time I have a video out. These are going to be few and far between. I may occasionally do these as I get asked questions because I think it's a fun thing to answer. Also, it keeps me from repeating these things in streams because that does get kind of repetitive for me and also for the other people that are there on a daily basis of like, God, he's talking about this again. So rather than sound like a broken record, I can just say, here's a link, go watch it, have fun. Daily streams right now, as of this recording, they're 5 p.m. daily, multi-streaming on YouTube and Twitch. There's a Discord. See you over there. Until then, stay safe, everybody. Happy gaming.